Let's talk fighters in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. First up on this list is the Psi Warrior, which was originally known as the Psi Knight and might have had another incarnation prior to that I don't remember. I guess the Psi Warrior kind of gives away the name, but it is very close to playing a Jedi, probably as close as you could be playing a fighter. Slap a sun blade on this baby and you've got a Jedi and you're ready to go. Well, I do think that the Blade Singer lore falls more in line with what a Jedi is. Psi Warrior can do a really good job of replicating a lot of the abilities as well, and a combination Psi Warrior Blade Singer could be really fun to play. That being said, in 5th edition, I don't particularly enjoy fighters because I find that they don't provide me enough variation, and that's not to say that they all don't, but they just haven't really piqued my interest. As someone who's played a lot and has got a lot of understanding of the mechanics of the game and things, I like to have a lot of versatility and options and ways to creatively problem solve a situation I might find myself in, and more often than not, in 5th edition, that falls into the realm of magic in some form or another. That being said, the Psi Warrior does have my attention. I am interested in potentially playing one, and I think it could be fun to go through. So before we get started, 3 things. 1, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would appreciate it if you consider doing so if you like what I do here. I also have a giveaway going on right now that you can enter to win free copies of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Also, in the description, you'll find a link to a Google form that you can fill out to help this Top 10 Tuesday is going to be viewer-defined magic items. Put in your top 10 favorite magic items in that form. I'll compile all the list and we'll see what you guys think is the best. And thirdly, comparing this, we're going to try, but we're probably going to have to exclude 90% of the Unearthed Arcana from this comparison and probably really just talk about the Psi Warrior on its face, because the last incarnation of it was just crazy. All right, it was just absolutely nutty. It used that whole psionic talent concept of the die that gets bigger and smaller, and it was crazy. The class is nothing even remotely close to that, so comparison may not even be fair. But there are some things that do correlate, so we'll take a look. So, as per usual, Unearthed Arcana on the right, Tasha's Cauldron on the left. I'm not going to explain the concept of the psionic talent. It was this whole thing with changing die size. You see it here, and then it had a whole psi replenishment. It was a whole thing. I don't think it was great. Some people loved it. It didn't make it. Enough people said they didn't like it. So some of the names remain the same, so we might look at that. But basically, what you're going to get now as a Psi Warrior is a pool of dice, similar to a Battle Master Maneuver, or a Dreams Druid's Healing, or a Celestial Warlock's Guiding Healing Light, or whatever. You get D6s, psionic dice, equal to twice your proficiency bonus. So that starts at 2 times 2 is 4, all the way up to 12 at level, I think, 17, unless you have like that Ioun Stone that boosts your proficiency bonus. So they are used to fuel your different psionic powers. You regain all psionic energy dice when you finish a long rest, and as a bonus action, you can regain 1 once per short or long rest. So that was what the sort of the psi replenishment feature was. So again, starts off with 4. You can get 1 back as a bonus action, and then on a short rest, you can get that ability to get a bonus 1 back. Keep aware of this. This is basically going to be the same thing when we talk about the Soul Knife Rogue as well. So it lets you do, and I should say the die type changes. It goes up to, on cantrip scaling levels, it goes up a die type. So at 5, it goes up to a D8, 11 a D10, and 17 up to a D12. And then we had 3 abilities, Protective Field, Psionic Strike, and Telekinetic Movement. Those are basically very similar to the Unearthed Arcana, but Protective Field is when you or another creature within 30 feet of you takes damage, you can use your reaction to expend a psionic energy die, roll it, and reduce the damage taken by the number rolled plus your intelligence modifier as you create a telekinetic shield of force, which you can kind of see here. And then it also said this was very similar to the original, which did that, but it used your psionic talent die, which is now just a D6 as opposed to another die type. We also had what was called what is originally, I guess, called Psionic or Telekinetic Strike. It's once on each of your turns after you deal damage to a target within 30 feet. You could roll your Psionic talent die and add it to the damage. It is now pretty much the same once on each of your turns. Immediately after you hit a target with an attack and deal damage to it with a weapon, expend the die, rolling it to deal that extra damage equal to the number rolled plus your intelligence modifier. Originally, it did not add your intelligence modifier, so that works out. After you deal damage to a target with a weapon attack, so it's that stays the same. And then we didn't have this ability here. Telekinetic Movement originally came at level 7, so we had what was called Psi-Powered Leap, but that came later. So let's go down to Telekinetic Movement. Originally, in the Unearthed Arcana, we got this at 7. As an action, you can choose a target. You target one loose object that is larger, smaller, or a willing creature other than yourself. If they're within 30 feet, you can move them 30 feet. Alternatively, if it's a tiny object, you can move it to or from your hand, horizontally, vertically, or both. And then it says when you take this action, your psionic talent die decreases. We don't have that anymore. I think it's pretty much the same, though. You target one loose object that is larger, smaller, or one willing creature other than you. You can move it within 30 feet. If it's tiny, it can come to your hand. So the way it works now is once you take this action, you can't do it again until you finish a short or long rest unless you expend a die. So I like the psionic die feature, or psionic energy die as it's called, because it has multiple functions. It functions similar to like a Battle Master maneuver where you can roll it to add it to an attack, damage, or so on, but it also serves as a resource that you can just expend to get something back. As it says here, you can do telekinetic movement once a short or long rest for free with no issues, or if you want to do it again before you get that short rest, you can go ahead and expend a psionic energy die. You just, essentially if you had 4, tick one off, you've used one, and now you get that ability back. I like that a lot. And then we'll go down to level 7 here. We have in the published source what's called Psi-Powered Leap. That was originally a level 3 feature from the Unearthed Arcana, which was you can roll your psionic talent die and extend the distance of a jump up to a number of feet equal to twice the number rolled plus your intelligence modifier. Now it is as a bonus action, you gain a flying speed equal to twice your walking speed until the end of the current turn. Once you take this bonus action, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest, unless you expend a psionic energy die to take it again. So that is ultimately way better. A fly speed is ultimately significantly, a fly speed equal to twice your walking speed, mind you. So if you have a way to increase your movement speed, this is a lot better than a double jump because flying has a bunch of use. It also could be potentially useful in combat as well. And reminder, if you're up in the air, you could use the bonus action again to maintain if you want to expend that psionic energy die. And once again, similar to telekinetic movement, this is once a short rest for free. And it's a bonus action, so you can still dash, you can still action dash, action surge dash. You have a lot of things going for you here. And then originally we had at a level 7 Psionic Thrust. When you deal damage to a target with your telekinetic strike, let's see, you can force them to make a strength saving throw based off of your intelligence modifier. Unless they succeed, you can knock the target prone or move it up to 10 feet in any direction horizontally. It's now, again, when you deal damage with your psionic strike, they make a strength saving throw, again, based off of your intelligence modifier. If the save fails, you can knock the target prone or move it, so it's pretty much the same. We had originally here Psi-Enhanced Metabolism at level 10, which was resistance to poison and psychic damage and immunity to the poison condition. You now have what is called Guarded Mind, which is you have resistance to psychic damage, so that remains the same. And it says, moreover, if you start your turn charmed or frightened, you can expend a psionic energy die and end the effect on yourself, subjecting you to those conditions. So I like resistance to poison damage. There are races that can gain you access to that and other means to do so. Immunity to the poison condition, also nice, but didn't really fit to me as a psychic type ability. But I like that at the start of your turn, if you're charmed or frightened, you can once again just expend that psionic energy die using it as a resource to just end it. It's not a reaction to do so. It's when you start your turn and you're affected by a condition, you can just do it, which is great because it doesn't expend any resources other than the psionic energy die, which, as a reminder, you can get one back as a bonus action and then short rest to get that ability back. We have Bulwark of Force at level 15. This was as a bonus action. You can choose creatures, which includes you, within 30 feet, up to a number of creatures equal to your intelligence modifier. Each of those chosen creatures is protected by half cover for 1 minute. And then it says you couldn't do so again unless you decrease, once per long rest, unless you decrease your psionic talent die. It is now a bonus action still. It specifies, creatures within 30 feet equal to your intelligence modifier, so that is the same. Each of those creatures is protected by half cover for 1 minute. Yep. Once you take this bonus action again, you can't do it until you finish a long rest unless you expend a psionic energy die. Once again, playing into that awesome resource utilization. And then lastly, at 18, we had Telekinetic Master. If your psionic talent die is available, you can cast the telekinesis spell requiring no components. Intelligence is your spellcasting modifier for this. When you cast it, it decreases your die size. It is now, you can cast a telekinesis spell requiring no components, and your spellcasting modifier is intelligence. On each of the turns while you concentrate on this spell, including the turn you cast it, you can make one attack with a weapon as a bonus action. So you're concentrating on telekinesis, you get a free sort of war magic style ability here where you can make an attack as a bonus action while you're still using telekinesis. And it is once per long rest and once unless you spend a psionic energy die to use it again. Again, falling into that concept of what I've been saying that I very much like. So I really like the Psi Knight. I definitely like where they went with the new mechanics as opposed to what they had done, which I did not very much enjoy, the psionic talent die and the decrease of that. I think this is definitely better. Maybe a little bit, I might like a little bit more than just twice my proficiency bonus worth of psionic dice. But again, you can get some back on a short rest. You have some other abilities you can do. You are still a base fighter, right? So you're still going to have second wind to possibly use for your bonus action. You're going to have action surge, multiple attacks, indomitable. You have things going for you. If you pick a certain kind of race that might give you other cool abilities, you might be able to do some fun stuff with that. Also interesting, you can do this all while wearing plate mail, and wielding a shield if you want. So you could be, the heavy armor Jedi, or you could go with a dexterity build, and that works just fine. You could also be an archer too, right? Because I think a lot of those abilities work within 30 feet. Even the extra damage is when you hit with a weapon within 30 feet. So as long as they're close range, maybe also interesting concept, be the thrown. Take your fighting style as thrown weapon fighting, and then you can throw psionic, you can throw daggers and then increase the damage with your psychic abilities. A lot of versatility here because you just really, your race and what fighting style you pick gives you a lot of versatility here, especially again with the new feats that we haven't covered in this video series yet, allowing you to get extra fighting styles and things like that. I really like the Psi Warrior a lot. I think I liked Psi Knight better. It definitely fit more of that Jedi Knight concept as opposed to this Psi Warrior. But yeah, I'm currently playing a Blade Singer in an ongoing campaign with one level of fighter that I took to get like the dueling fighting style. If I were to take 3 levels of fighter, I would definitely choose Psi Warrior. So I'd be a 17 wizard, 3 Psi Warrior. I think I'd actually really, really enjoy that. But let me know your thoughts on the Psi Warrior. It does give off Jedi vibes. It is definitely one of the more interesting fighters that I've seen. Like Battle Master did get a lot of versatility now with the new Battle Master maneuvers that we added, that we covered in the optional class feature variants. So that is very cool. So you can do a lot with Battle Master now, but I just really like this. I think the only other fighter that's really caught my eye aside from this one was the Renegade, that Dark Tides of Bilgewater League of Legends crossover subclass that disappeared from the internet because of whatever reason we never found out about. That was the other one that really caught my eye. But let me know your thoughts, and I will see you next time when we go over the Rune Knight fighter. Enjoy all your giant and runic fantasies.